Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Old Quarter Dollar USA. Today in this video, we will explore 6 different United States half-dollar coins and learn about their history, design, mint marks, and collector value. These coins include the 1971 D. Kennedy half dollar, 1972 no mint mark half dollar, 1776-1976, D. Bicentennial half dollar, 1981, D half dollar, 1984, D half dollar, and 1997, D half dollars top 1. The 1971 D. Kennedy half dollar is one of the early coins in the famous Kennedy half dollar series of the United States Mint. This coin was issued in 1971 and carries the D Mint mark, which means it was produced at the Denver Mint in the United States. The Kennedy half dollar series first appeared in 1964, shortly after the tragic assassination of John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States. The coin was created as a tribute to his memory, and it quickly became one of the most recognized and collected American coins. By 1971, the United States had already changed the composition of the half dollar because the earlier coins contained silver. Beginning in 1971, the half dollar, including the 1971 D coin, was made from a copper-nickel-clad composition rather than silver. The coin weighs about 11.34 grams and has a diameter of 30.6 millimeters, making it one of the larger modern U.S. circulating coins. On the obverse side of the 1971 D. Kennedy half dollar is the portrait of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, who was the chief engraver of the United States Mint at the time. Kennedy is shown facing left with detailed hair and strong facial features, symbolizing leadership and dignity. Around the portrait, you will see the word Liberty at the top, which is a traditional inscription found on many American coins. Below the portrait is the year 1971, indicating when the coin was minted. The phrase, "In God We Trust," appears in 2 parts on either side of Kennedy's neck. These inscriptions represent American national values and the country's history of faith and freedom. The coin's design is simple but powerful, making it one of the most iconic portraits in U.S. coinage history. The reverse side of the coin features the presidential seal, designed by Frank Gasparro, who also served as chief engraver of the United States Mint. At the center is a heraldic eagle with its wings spread wide, holding an olive branch in one talon and arrows in the other, symbolizing the nation's desire for peace, but readiness to defend itself. Above the eagle's head are rays and stars forming a circular pattern, representing the states of the Union. Surrounding the design are the inscriptions, United States of America, and half dollar. The detailed reverse design gives the coin a majestic and patriotic appearance. The D Mint mark can be found on the obverse side below Kennedy's neck, showing that the coin was struck in Denver. In terms of production, millions of these coins were struck in 1971 at the Denver Mint. Because of this high mintage, the 1971 D. Kennedy half dollar is not extremely rare in circulated condition. However, collectors still appreciate it because it marks the beginning of the copper-nickel era of Kennedy half dollars. In circulated condition, the coin is usually worth close to its face value or slightly higher for collectors. Uncirculated examples with strong detail and original mint luster can be worth several dollars. Coins graded in very high mint state conditions by professional grading services can be more valuable, especially if they have exceptional quality or special characteristics. Some collectors also search for rare varieties, such as double dyes or unusual minting marks, which can increase the coin's value. Historically, the Kennedy half dollar has become a symbol of American history and remembrance. Even though half dollars are rarely used in everyday transactions today, they remain popular among coin collectors around the world. The 1971 D version represents a transition period in U.S. coinage when precious metal coins were replaced with modern clad compositions due to rising silver prices. Because of this change, the coin tells an important story about economic conditions and minting practices in the early 1970s. Today, many collectors keep the 1971 D. Kennedy half dollar as part of complete Kennedy sets, and it continues to be a fascinating piece of numismatic history that honors the legacy of President John F. Kennedy while reflecting the evolving design and production of American coins. Next, top 2. The 1972 Kennedy half dollar, no mint mark, is an important coin in the famous Kennedy half dollar series, produced by the United States Mint. This coin was minted in 1972 without a mint mark, which means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the oldest mint facility in the United States. The Kennedy half dollar series was first introduced in 1964 to honor the memory of John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, who was tragically assassinated in 1963. The coin quickly became popular with the American public, and millions were saved by collectors as a tribute to Kennedy's legacy. By 1972, the half dollar had already transitioned away from silver, and like the 1971 issue, the 1972 coin was produced using a copper-nickel-clad composition rather than precious metal. This change was made because the rising price of silver made it too expensive for everyday circulation coins. The obverse front design of the 1972 Kennedy half dollar features the left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, who served as chief engraver of the United States Mint. Kennedy's portrait is strong and dignified, showing detailed hair and a confident expression. Above the portrait appears the word Liberty, one of the traditional inscriptions found on U.S. coins that represents the nation's core value of freedom. The year 1972 is displayed below Kennedy's neck, showing when the coin was struck. The national motto, "In God We Trust," is split into two parts on either side of the neck truncation. Because this coin has no mint mark, it indicates that it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not place mint marks on coins during that period. The reverse back design was created by Frank Gasparo, another chief engraver of the United States Mint. The reverse displays a modified version of the presidential seal of the United States. At the center is a large heraldic eagle with its wings spread wide. In its right talon, the eagle holds an olive branch, symbolizing peace, while in its left talon it holds arrows, representing the nation's readiness to defend itself. Above the eagle's head is a cluster of stars surrounded by rays of light, representing the unity of the American states. Around the outer edge of the coin appear the inscriptions, United States of America at the top and half dollar at the bottom. This bold design gives the coin a powerful patriotic appearance and reflects American national identity. The 1972 Kennedy half dollar, without a mint mark, has a diameter of about 30.6 millimeters and weighs approximately 11.34 grams. Its composition consists of an outer layer of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving the coin its silver-colored appearance while keeping production costs lower than using real silver. The edge of the coin is reeded, which means it has small grooves around its circumference. Reeded edges were originally used on silver coins to prevent people from shaving off small amounts of precious metal, but the design continues to be used today as a traditional feature. In terms of mintage, millions of 1972 Kennedy half dollars were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, making the coin relatively common in circulated condition. Because of this high production, most circulated coins are usually worth only slightly above their face value of 50 cents. However, uncirculated coins that still show original mint luster can be worth several dollars to collectors. Coins graded in very high mint state conditions by professional grading services may sell for higher prices, especially if they are well-preserved examples with sharp details. Some collectors also look for minting errors or special varieties, such as double dies or unusual strike characteristics, which can make certain coins much more valuable than normal examples. Historically, the 1972 Kennedy half dollar represents an interesting period in American coinage when the United States was adapting to new economic conditions and changing metal compositions. The removal of silver from circulating coins marked a major shift in the country's monetary system. Even though the half dollar was once widely used in daily transactions, its circulation declined over time as Americans began using smaller denominations like quarters and dollar bills more frequently. Despite this, the Kennedy half dollar remains a popular coin among collectors because of its historical significance and its connection to President Kennedy's legacy. Today, the 1972 Kennedy half dollar, without a mint mark, continues to be collected by numismatists around the world. Many collectors aim to complete full date and mint sets of Kennedy half dollars, which include coins from multiple decades. The 1972 issue serves as a reminder of both the memory of President John F. Kennedy and the evolving history of American coin production. For coin enthusiasts, this half dollar is more than just money. It is a piece of American history that reflects political change, artistic design, and the story of modern U.S. currency. Next, top 3. The 1976 D. Kennedy half dollar Bicentennial is a special commemorative coin issued by the United States Mint to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the independence of the United States. This coin was released as part of the nationwide celebration of the United States Bicentennial, which marked 200 years since the signing of the United States Declaration of Independence in 1776. Instead of using a single date, like most coins, this special half dollar displays the dual date 1776 to 1976 to represent the 200 years of American independence. The coin carries the D Mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the major minting facilities in the United States. This coin belongs to the famous Kennedy half dollar series, which first began in 1964 after the assassination of John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States. The Kennedy half dollar quickly became a symbol of remembrance and national pride, and by the time of the bicentennial celebration, it was already one of the most recognized coins in American currency. The obverse front of the coin features the well-known portrait of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, who served as the chief engraver of the United States Mint. Kennedy is shown facing left with detailed hair and a strong presidential expression, reflecting dignity, leadership, and honor. At the top of the coin is the word Liberty, a traditional inscription used on many American coins to symbolize freedom and democratic values. Below the portrait appears the dual date 1776 to 1976, marking the bicentennial celebration of the nation's independence. The phrase, "In God We Trust," is placed in two parts on either side of Kennedy's neck. On the lower right side of the portrait, you can see the D Mint mark, which identifies the Denver Mint as the facility where this coin was produced. The obverse design remained mostly unchanged from earlier Kennedy half dollars, but the special date makes it unique among the series. The reverse, back, of the bicentennial half dollar is completely different from the regular Kennedy half dollar design. Instead of the presidential seal, the coin features a patriotic design created by Seth G. Huntington, whose design was selected through a national competition organized by the United States Mint. The reverse shows Independence Hall, the historic building in Philadelphia, where the United States Declaration of Independence was debated and adopted in 1776. Independence Hall is an important symbol of American freedom and democracy, making it the perfect image for the bicentennial celebration. Above the building appears the inscription, United States of America, while below it is the denomination half dollar. The motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, is also included in the design, representing the unity of the American states. The detailed depiction of Independence Hall makes this reverse one of the most historically meaningful designs ever used on a U.S. coin. The 1776-1976 D. Kennedy half dollar is made of copper-nickel-clad composition, similar to other half dollars produced after 1971. The coin has a diameter of approximately 30.6 millimeters and weighs around 11.34 grams. Its edge is reeded, which means it has small grooves along the rim. This reeded edge was historically used to prevent people from shaving precious metal from coins, but today it continues mainly as a traditional design feature. Millions of bicentennial half dollars were produced at the Denver Mint, as well as at the Philadelphia Mint and the San Francisco Mint, which also struck special silver collector versions. Because of the large number of coins minted, the 1776-1976 D half dollar is generally not considered rare in circulated condition. However, collectors still value it for its historical significance and unique design. In terms of value, most circulated 1776-1976 D. Kennedy half dollars are usually worth close to their face value or slightly higher. Uncirculated coins with bright mint luster can be worth several dollars, depending on their condition. Coins that receive very high grades from professional grading services may sell for higher prices among collectors. Special collector versions made in 40% silver at the San Francisco Mint are typically more valuable than the standard copper-nickel coins. Some collectors also search for rare mint errors, such as double dies or unusual strike characteristics, which can significantly increase the value of certain coins. The Bicentennial Coinage Program was one of the largest commemorative coin programs in American history. In addition to the half dollar, the United States Mint also produced special designs for the quarter and the dollar coins to celebrate the bicentennial. These coins were released into circulation during 1975 and 1976, allowing millions of Americans to take part in the national celebration simply by using everyday money. The program helped spark renewed interest in coin collecting across the country. Today, the 1776-1976 D. Kennedy half dollar remains a favorite among coin collectors and history enthusiasts. It represents not only the memory of President John F. Kennedy, but also the 200-year journey of the United States as a nation. The coin stands as a reminder of the country's struggle for independence, the ideals of liberty and unity, and the enduring importance of American democracy. For collectors, historians, and patriotic Americans, this bicentennial half dollar is more than just a coin. It is a small but powerful piece of American history that celebrates 2 centuries of freedom and national identity. Next, top 4. The 1981 D. Kennedy half dollar is part of the famous Kennedy half dollar series, produced by the United States Mint. This coin was struck in 1981 and carries the D Mint mark, which indicates it was minted at the Denver Mint in the United States. The Kennedy half dollar series began in 1964 as a tribute to John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, after his assassination in 1963. The coin was quickly designed and released to honor his memory, and it became one of the most recognized coins in American history. By the time the 1981 D issue was produced, the coin had already gone through several changes in metal composition and circulation patterns. Unlike the early 1964 coins that contained 90% silver, the 1981 half dollar was made using a copper-nickel-clad composition, which had been standard for circulation coins since 1971. The obverse front of the 1981 D. Kennedy half dollar features the well-known portrait of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, who served as chief engraver of the United States Mint. Kennedy is shown facing left with carefully detailed hair and a calm, confident expression that reflects leadership and dignity. Around the top edge of the coin, appears the inscription Liberty, which represents the fundamental value of freedom in American society. Below the portrait is the year 1981, marking the date when the coin was produced. The national motto, "In God We Trust," is placed in two sections on either side of Kennedy's neck. Just below the truncation of the neck appears the D Mint mark, identifying the Denver Mint as the mint facility where this particular coin was struck. The obverse design has remained largely unchanged since the first Kennedy half dollar was introduced, making it one of the most consistent and recognizable designs in U.S. coinage. The reverse, back, of the coin was designed by Frank Gasparo, another chief engraver of the United States Mint. The reverse design is based on the presidential seal of the United States and features a powerful heraldic eagle with its wings spread wide. In the eagle's right talon, it holds an olive branch, symbolizing peace, while the left talon holds a bundle of arrows representing strength and the readiness to defend the nation. Above the eagle's head is a ring of stars surrounded by rays of light, symbolizing the unity of the American states. Around the rim of the coin appear the inscriptions "United States of America" at the top and "half dollar" at the bottom. The motto "E pluribus unum," meaning out of many one, appears above the eagle's head, representing the unity of the United States as a nation made up of many states and people. The 1981 D. Kennedy half dollar has a diameter of approximately 30.6 millimeters and weighs about 11.34 grams. Its composition consists of outer layers of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving the coin its silver-colored appearance while keeping production costs lower than precious metals. The edge of the coin is reeded, meaning it has small vertical grooves along the rim. This design feature was originally introduced to prevent the clipping or shaving of precious metal from coins, but it continues to be used today mainly for tradition and identification. In terms of mintage, millions of 1981 D. Kennedy half dollars were struck at the Denver Mint. However, during the late 1970s and early 1980s, the half dollar was no longer widely used in everyday transactions. Many of these coins were saved directly by collectors rather than circulated through banks and businesses. Because of this, the coin is relatively easy to find in uncirculated condition compared to some earlier half dollars. In circulated condition, the coin is generally worth around its face value of 50 cents, though collectors may pay a small premium for well-preserved examples. Uncirculated coins with strong mint luster and sharp details can be worth several dollars, and coins graded in very high mint state conditions by professional grading services may be valued higher among serious collectors. The 1981 D. Kennedy half dollar is also interesting because it was produced during a period when the United States Mint was focusing more on collector markets. Although the coin continued to be officially issued for circulation, most half dollars from this era were ordered by collectors or included in mint sets rather than being widely used by the public. This trend gradually turned the Kennedy half dollar into a collectible coin rather than a commonly circulated one. Today, the 1981 D. Kennedy half dollar remains an important piece for collectors who are building a complete set of the Kennedy half dollar series. It represents the continuing legacy of John F. Kennedy, whose leadership and influence left a lasting impact on American history. For numismatists, the coin is not just a piece of currency, but a symbol of American heritage, artistic coin design, and the evolution of modern United States coinage. Many collectors enjoy preserving these coins in albums or graded holders, ensuring that the memory of President Kennedy and the history of the Kennedy half dollar will continue to be appreciated by future generations. Next top 5. The 1984 D. Kennedy half dollar is a modern American coin that belongs to the well-known Kennedy half dollar series, produced by the United States Mint. This coin was minted in 1984 and carries the D Mint mark, which indicates that it was struck at the Denver Mint in the United States. The Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964, shortly after the tragic assassination of John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States. The coin was introduced as a tribute to his memory and quickly became one of the most recognizable coins in American numismatic history. By the time the 1984 D issue was produced, the coin had already transitioned fully to a copper-nickel-clad composition, a change that had been implemented in 1971 after rising silver prices made precious metal coins too expensive for everyday circulation. The obverse side of the 1984 D. Kennedy half-dollar features the famous portrait of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, who served as chief engraver of the United States Mint. Kennedy is shown facing left with a strong and dignified expression, representing leadership, hope, and national pride. Above the portrait appears the word liberty, a traditional inscription on U.S. coins symbolizing freedom and the democratic values of the nation. Below Kennedy's portrait is the year 1984, indicating when the coin was struck. The national motto, "In God We Trust," appears on both sides of Kennedy's neck in two sections. Just below the neck truncation, you can see the D Mint mark, which confirms that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. This obverse design has remained largely unchanged since the coin was first introduced in 1964, making it one of the most consistent and recognizable coin designs in the United States. The reverse side of the coin was designed by Frank Gasparo, another important chief engraver of the United States Mint. The reverse design is based on the presidential seal of the United States and features a large heraldic eagle with its wings spread wide. In its right talon, the eagle holds an olive branch representing peace, while in its left talon it holds a bundle of arrows symbolizing strength and the ability of the nation to defend itself. Above the eagle's head is a group of stars surrounded by rays of light, representing the unity and strength of the American states. Around the edge of the coin appear the inscriptions "United States of America" at the top and "half-dollar" at the bottom. Above the eagle is the motto "E pluribus unum," which translates from Latin as "out of many one," representing the union of many states into one nation. The reverse design gives the coin a powerful and patriotic appearance that reflects American identity and national pride. The 1984 D. Kennedy half-dollar has a diameter of approximately 30.6 millimeters and weighs about 11.34 grams. The coin is made of copper-nickel-clad layers bonded to a copper core. This composition gives the coin a silver-like appearance, while being more affordable to produce than silver coins. The edge of the coin is reeded, meaning it has small grooves along its rim. Reeded edges were originally used on silver coins to prevent people from shaving small amounts of precious metal from the edges, but today the design remains mostly as a traditional feature of modern coinage. In terms of production, the Denver Mint produced millions of 1984 D. Kennedy half-dollars. By the 1980s, the half-dollar was no longer widely used in everyday transactions in the United States. Many of these coins were saved directly by collectors or distributed through mint sets rather than circulating widely in commerce. Because of this, many examples of the 1984 D half-dollar can still be found in uncirculated condition today. In circulated condition, the coin usually has a value close to its face value of 50 cents. However, uncirculated examples with strong mint luster and sharp details can be worth several dollars depending on their grade. Coins that are graded in very high mint state conditions by professional grading services may sell for higher prices among collectors, especially if they show exceptional quality or eye appeal. The 1984 D. Kennedy half-dollar is also interesting because it represents a period when coin collecting was becoming increasingly popular in the United States. During the late 20th century, the United States Mint began focusing more on producing coins for collectors through special mint sets and proof sets. Although the half-dollar remained an official circulating coin, it gradually became more of a collectible item rather than a commonly used piece of everyday currency. This shift helped preserve many coins from this period in excellent condition, making them accessible to collectors today. Today, the 1984 D. Kennedy half-dollar continues to be collected by numismatists around the world who appreciate its historical significance and classic design. The coin honors the legacy of John F. Kennedy while also representing the modern era of United States coinage. For collectors, the coin is an important piece in completing a full set of the Kennedy half-dollar series, which spans many decades and reflects the changing history of American money. Even though it may appear like a simple coin, the 1984 D. Kennedy half-dollar carries deep historical meaning and remains a lasting symbol of American heritage, leadership, and national identity. Next, top 6. The 1997 D. Kennedy half-dollar is a modern coin from the well-known Kennedy half-dollar series, produced by the United States Mint. This coin was minted in the year 1997 and carries the D Mint mark, which indicates that it was struck at the Denver Mint in the United States. The Kennedy half-dollar series was first introduced in 1964 as a tribute to John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, after his assassination in 1963. The American public strongly supported the idea of honoring Kennedy on a circulating coin, and the United States Mint quickly designed the new half-dollar to replace the Franklin half-dollar. Since its introduction, the Kennedy half-dollar has become one of the most recognizable coins in American currency and remains an important part of U.S. numismatic history. By the time the 1997 D coin was produced, the series had been in production for more than 3 decades and had become a favorite among collectors around the world. The obverse front of the 1997 D. Kennedy half-dollar features the well-known portrait of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, who served as chief engraver of the United States Mint during the early years of the series. Kennedy is shown facing left with detailed hair and a confident expression that reflects leadership and dignity. Around the top edge of the coin appears the inscription Liberty, symbolizing the fundamental American value of freedom. Below the portrait is the year 1997, marking the date when the coin was minted. The national motto, "In God We Trust," appears on both sides of Kennedy's neck, split into 2 parts. Just below the neck truncation, you will see the D Mint mark, identifying the Denver Mint as the mint facility where this coin was produced. The obverse design has remained largely unchanged since the Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced, which has helped maintain its iconic appearance for many decades. The reverse back of the coin was designed by Frank Gasparo, another important chief engraver of the United States Mint. The reverse design is based on the presidential seal of the United States and features a large heraldic eagle with its wings spread wide. In the eagle's right talon, it holds an olive branch, symbolizing peace, while the left talon holds a bundle of arrows representing strength and the nation's readiness to defend itself. Above the eagle's head appears a circle of stars surrounded by rays of light, symbolizing the unity of the American states. Around the rim of the coin appear the inscriptions, United States of America, at the top and half-dollar at the bottom. The Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, appears above the eagle's head and represents the unity of many states forming one nation. This powerful reverse design gives the coin a strong patriotic appearance and connects it to the symbolism of the United States government. The 1997 D. Kennedy half-dollar has a diameter of approximately 30.6 millimeters and weighs about 11.34 grams. The coin is made of copper-nickel clad layers bonded to a pure copper core, a composition that has been used for circulating half-dollars since 1971. This metal combination gives the coin a silver-like color while keeping production costs lower than coins made with precious metals. The coin also features a reeded edge, which means there are small grooves around its rim. Historically, these grooves were used on precious metal coins to prevent people from shaving off small amounts of silver or gold, but today they remain mainly as a traditional design element in modern coinage. In terms of mintage, the Denver Mint produced millions of 1997 D. Kennedy half dollars. However, by the 1990s, the half dollar was rarely used in everyday commerce in the United States. Most Americans preferred to use smaller denominations like quarters or paper dollar bills. As a result, many half dollars were produced mainly for collectors and were distributed through official United States mint sets rather than widely circulating in the economy. Because of this, many 1997 D coins remain in uncirculated condition today. In circulated condition, the coin usually has a value close to its face value of 50 cents, although collectors may pay slightly more for well-preserved examples. Uncirculated coins with bright mint luster can be worth several dollars depending on their condition and collector demand. Coins that receive very high mint state grades from professional grading services can sometimes command higher prices among serious numismatists. The 1997 D. Kennedy half dollar is also significant because it represents the later years of the 20th century in the long-running Kennedy half dollar series. Over time, the coin has become less common in daily transactions, but more important in the world of coin collecting. Many collectors enjoy assembling complete sets of Kennedy half dollars from 1964 to the present, and the 1997 D coin is an essential part of that collection. Today, the 1997 D Kennedy half dollar remains a meaningful symbol of American history and leadership. It honors the memory and legacy of John F. Kennedy, whose presidency left a lasting impact on the United States and the world. For coin collectors and historians, this half dollar is more than just a piece of currency. It is a small historical artifact that reflects the evolution of modern American coinage, the artistry of U.S. mint engravers, and the enduring respect for one of the nation's most influential presidents. Many collectors proudly preserve this coin in albums or graded holders, ensuring that the story of the Kennedy half dollar will continue to be appreciated by future generations.